Hi, I'm Christine Benz with Morningstar. My colleague Dan Lefkovitz and I interviewed Vanguard CEO Salim Ramji at the Morningstar Investment Conference in late June for an episode of our podcast, The Long View. Here's an excerpt from that conversation.
Financial advice has been described as Vanguard's engine number two. Curious how you sort of balance, serving investors, empowering them in their own practice versus providing financial advice yourself.
Yeah, and it was something, if we've got the history right, we'd started it out about 10 years ago. And some of the original logic, which still applies, is that for some clients, the key to investment success is advice. And I've come across a number of clients, both that I've met with our advisors, or even when I'm listening in on calls, who may have started out as self-directed investors, but maybe in retirement, they want more help and more advice than they needed in accumulation. Maybe they're thinking about how to enable the next generation, their kids or grandkids, to interact kind of with investments. And so they're looking for advice, not necessarily for themselves, but for others in their family. And so part of why we started that offering 10 years ago was to really enable clients who wanted that service from Vanguard to be able to have access to it rather than having to go somewhere else. And what we're really innovating on beyond kind of that service, and this goes back to AI, we've got a digital advice platform. Since I'm here at Morningstar, it was highly rated by Morningstar. And back in September, we dropped the minimum account size to $100. So for $100, you can now get a diversified portfolio of underlying ETFs. You can get a digital advice capability. And the thinking behind that was that everybody should have access to good advice. And it shouldn't just be the preserve of the very affluent or the folks that, very high net worth advisors want to serve. And if you think, as you look out over the next 10 years, there's going to be fewer advisors and more demand for their services. And so if we're to help more and more people achieve investment success who need advice, we're going to have to do that digitally. And I think we want to take this digital advice capability that's already well regarded by clients, by Morningstar and others, and then embed a lot of AI capabilities into it to make it even more personalized, even more capable than it is today. And I think that's beyond the dropping the minimum to $100, I think that's the most exciting kind of next development for digital advice, is how do you make it kind of much more enabled by AI and enable clients, whether they have $100, $1,000, $10,000, to be able to interact with it much better.